Hello everyone, back at it again with another deck tech, this time on Bruse Tarl, Boris Herder, and Reyhan, last of the Abzant. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet so that it's easier for people to view. Basically this is a 4-color mid-range deck that kind of plays out like a bigger zoo variant. You have basically all of the good aggressive and mid-range creatures in your colors, and you back that up with mana dorks to accelerate your game plan. And basically the main commander of the deck is Bruse Tarl, Boris Herder. When he enters the battlefield or attacks, you can double strike lifelink one of your guys, which is super powerful for beating the aggressive decks of the format. If you get in one hit, it's pretty tough for them to win. If you get in a second, it's pretty close to unlosable. Reyhan is mostly here for the colors green-black, but being a 3/3 for 3 is perfectly acceptable, and the ability is relevant. Talk more about a little bit of synergy with him as we come to it. We'll go through the mana base first. As you can expect, we have all 10 fetch lands. We have all 6, original duels in our color, all 6 shocks in our color. We have the green-black, green-red, and green-white fast land. The same for pain lands. We have Cavern as one of our few utility lands. We have City of Brass and Mana Confluence. Command Tower, Dryad Arbor as another utility land, Grove of the Burn Willows. So we have 2 Buddy lands, 1 Sun Petal Grove, 1 Woodland Cemetery, and then Wasteland, and 1 of each basic in the color minus a mountain. And that's the mana base. It's straightforward. You don't have a ton of utility lands because you're in 4 colors. You can't really afford them. There are 2 colorless lands in the entire deck, Wasteland and Cavern. And Cavern, basically you're going to name human with it. It'll resolve both of your commanders and a few of your other creatures. Speaking of, we'll run through those really quick. Anaphylaxis the foremost is a great hate bear against graveyard creature decks and just a pretty big threat on her own. Anger is 100% in the deck for survival shenanigans. If you find yourself tutoring for something with survival or Fauna Shaman, you can pitch whatever to get anger first and then pitch the anger to get what you actually wanted. And if you control a mountain, your guys have haste, which is super powerful with Bruse. Allows you to play Bruse, double strike something, attack, double strike something, which is sweet. Arbor Elf, Avacyn's Pilgrim, Birds of Paradise for all mana creatures. Bloodghast is honestly kind of similar to Anger. It allows you to have a little bit more value out of your survival game. You can pitch whatever to get Bloodghast, pitch Bloodghast to get what you really want, then landfall and get back a free threat. Boreal Druid is a mana dork, Dark Confidants, card advantage. Deathrite Shaman's a 1-mana planeswalker. It's a mana creature, it's life gain against aggro, and it's obviously a threat and graveyard hate all packed into one. 2 more mana dorks and Elves of Deep Shadow and Elvish Mystic. Eternal Witness is some graveyard recursion. You'll mostly be buying back either a really good threat or a removal spell of some sort. Falkenrath Aristocrat has been super impressive to me. It wasn't in the initial version of the deck that I played, but I slotted it in once I saw this list. And it's obviously a sweet threat. A 4/1 haste with flying for 4 is great. But if you sacrifice Reyhan, Last of the Abzan, you're going to get a single counter from Falkenrath Aristocrat's ability, and then you can move the 3 counters from Reyhan onto something else, generally Falkenrath Aristocrat, and then you have an 8/5 flying haste, indestructible until end of turn, and it's pretty tough to kill that. You usually have some utility creatures running around or whatever that you can just sacrifice to keep the Falkenrath Aristocrat alive, and it's just very powerful. The only things that can really deal with it are a bounce spell or an exile effect, so it's just really good. Fauna Shaman is great. All of the survival effects are super busted in this deck. You just have so many options in these colors. Flame Tongue Kavu is a great removal spell creature. Same with Fleshbag Marauder. They both deal with their respective targets. You know, like this is going to be able to kill just about anything you can target, and this is going to be able to kill basically everything that Flame Tongue Kavu can't. Flinthoof Boar is just a nice, aggressively caustic creature. Another mana dork. Gaddock Teeg's a hate bear. It's good against Wraths. It's good against X spells, obviously. If there are combo decks or control decks that are very popular in your meta, Gaddock Teeg's going to be great. The only thing it shuts down for us is Birthing Pod and Green Sun Zenith. I'm pretty sure that's it. Yeah. So it doesn't affect us too much. Gorklan is basically in the deck exclusively for the combo with Bruse Tarl, where you give something double strike, and then you can pay green-red and give it trample and +4/+4 until end of turn, which is essentially trample and +8/+8, which is super powerful. Grimflayer is a good card filter late in the game, and it is a reasonably large threat. Kitchen Finks is some free life gain, just a great value creature. Mana Dork, another mana creature basically. It's super powerful with fetch lands, and we're playing 10, so it's obviously going to be very good. Putrid Leech is just another beatdown card. Pride Mage is a nice hate bear that allows you to deal with artifacts and enchantments. Rex Sage is another artifact and enchantment removal. Saskia, who whenever these decks first came out was the commander, and I don't think that's necessarily wrong. It's just having actual two commanders is so powerful for the card advantage sake. But Saskia is great. Pretty often, if you're green sunning for a 4-drop, this is the one you want. It's just super, super powerful. Just great. Scavenging Ooze is another hate bear, and it eventually becomes a pretty large threat. Shriekmaw is great. It's the only 5 in the deck, so if you're potting your 4 into your 5, this is the only thing you can get off of it. And it's just a nice removal spell, and Fear is pretty darn good in this format. Siege Rhino is, you know, some life gain and a big threat. It also deals damage with the life gain. Stoneforge is just an amazing card. It's one of my favorites in the format. If I'm playing white, I want to be playing a Stoneforge package. In this deck, we only have 2 equipment to go and get. Skull Clamp, which lets us cash in our Mana Dorks late game for card draw, and Jite, which is just an amazing card. It's life gain, it's removal, it's a pump spell, and it's especially good with Double Strike from Bruse Tarl. Getting 4 counters out of a single attack is just ridiculous. Sylvan Ranger, which in my opinion is sleeper OP in this deck. It's not actually overpowered, but it has impressed me a lot. I've pretty often green sun for it. I've pretty often survivaled for it. Sometimes your mana base just doesn't function well, and this allows you to fix your mana. We don't have a mountain in this list, but if you are running into problems with red land, if you don't have a completely optimal mana base and you can't get red mana, you could drop a mountain in, and Sylvan Ranger is going to be able to help with that. Tarmogoyf is just another good beatdown creature, and Vengevine is the 3rd card with some sweet survival synergy. And it just allows you to, again, pitch for Vengevine and then pitch the Vengevine for what you really want. Cast 2 creature spells and you get a free 4/3. It's just good. Voice is another hate bear that just is it's Wrath Insurance. It's good against counter spells / just any instant that's played on your turn. It's just a really good card. For instants, we have Abrupt Decay, which is just good clean removal. Dismember is super efficient. Dramoka's command is really, really good. Most often, you're probably going to be like +1/+1 counter and fighting in general, but the sacrifice and enchantment mode, when you use it, is insane, and so is the prevent damage and instant or sorcery would deal this turn. Fatal Push is just good clean removal. Same with Go for the Throat. Bolt is just one of the best cards in the format now. Lightning Helix, pretty similar. It's less efficient than Bolt, obviously, but the life gain is nice. Source of Plowshares, just great removal. Tainted Pact, which, if you're not familiar with the card, You remove the top card of your library from the game. You may put that card into your hand unless it has the same name as another card removed this way. Repeat this process until you put in a card into your hand, or you remove 2 cards with the same name, whichever comes first. And basically, since this is an actual Highlander list, we're doubling up on no cards. Normally, basic lands is where that happens. We have essentially another demonic tutor for the deck, and instant speed. Now, you can't generally go get exactly what you want with Tainted Pact. You kind of just take the best card that you come to first, unless you desperately need a very specific card. But it's just really good. It's another free demonic tutor, basically. And then Terminate is more efficient removal. Chain Lightning is a sorcery speed lightning bolt. We just talked about demonic tutor. Basically, you can go and get whatever the best card is for a given situation. Eldritch Evolution, which when I first saw the list, I questioned this card a little bit, but it has been really, really good. Most often, you'll sack Reyhan to it. You'll get to move the counters from Reyhan onto something, which is sweet value. You didn't lose any power from the battlefield. And then you'll go and get either a super powerful 4, or you will get Shriekmaw. And it's just really, really good. But obviously, if you sack Reyhan, you can go get any creature in the deck that you want. Just very, very good. Then we have Flame Slash, which is just more efficient removal. Green Sun Zenith, which allows us to tutor for Dryad Arbor on turn 1 if we don't have a Mana Dork on turn 2, or for 2 mana. On 3, we can get a Hate Bear style creature, whatever you want. Fauna Shaman, Fauna Shaman's a pretty sweet one to get, because then it turns you go and get whatever creature you want for the rest of the game. You have some beatdowny creatures and some hate bear creatures that you can get on 2. On 3, you have, honestly, not a super lot of 3-drops in the deck. You have Anafenza, you have Eternal Witness, you have Kitchen Finks, and you have Reclamation Sage, and that's it on 3. But it's great, and on 4 you can go and get Saskia if you want a haste threat out of nowhere, Vengevine if you don't have Saskia available to you, etc., etc. The card's just amazing. And then Lingering Souls, which is just a super efficient threat. Just a great card. Artifacts, we have Birthing Pod. Pod is just insanely good. Podding through anything is great. Podding Reyhan is just extra value. Just a really, really powerful card. Skull Clamp and Jite we've already talked about. With Stoneforge, and then Smuggler's Copter is been pretty impressive to me in this deck. You have a lot of 1/1s that hang around, with your dorks and stuff, and later in the game, just like Skull Clamp makes them relevant, Smuggler's Copter can too. And since your card quality is super high, you can just get rid of lands and get real spells, ideally. Really, really good. Rancor is just a nice trampler enabler for Bruse Tarl, so that the double strike becomes even more powerful. And Survival is Survival. Card's just amazingly good. It's pretty hard to lose with a Survival in play. Just, pitch a guy, go get Anger, pitch Anger, get what you really want, and then keep going from there. Just super powerful. And that's the list. It's by Alexander Loskotov, who is a French player, and he generally does really, really well in events. So if you're ever on MTG Top 8, which is a site for this format, if you aren't familiar with it, check out his deck list. If you see them, they're bound to be very well tuned and very good. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed.